Some of us, we didn't do that assignment. Ask someone, are you proud of your continent? Thank you. Yes, I am. Yes, I am. I was told to speak for 4 hours on the future of education. My name is Christos, and I have the privilege of betting the first institute or faculty of mind engineering in the world. I intend not to talk about my institution today, but I intend to focus on Africa because it's obvious that every one of us seated here, we are Afrocentric. We love Africa. Please put your hands together for yourself one more time. There's a parable, an aphorism, an adage that says that until the lion learns how to write, the story will always glorify the hunter. Until Africa learns how to write his own story, we will always be what we shouldn't be. Thank God for that lady who spoke about branding. If you go, when she spoke, I just picked up my phone and I wrote Africa on Google. Trust me, you won't see Maitama. You won't see these places that she was trying to project that we should put out there. Instead, you see the futility of Africa. On education, which is one of the most important things in every community or any country. You know, everyone has a plan for Africa. Are you aware? The United States, they do have plans for Africa. Even Russia now has a plan for Africa. They are coming close to Africa. But what is Africa's plan for itself? You see, I'm not here to motivate you. I've come here to remind you that the future of education is not about more information. It's about awakening. And I'm not going to criticize our current educational system, even though I know that it is epileptic. Even though I know that our scheme of work is dislocated, I'm not here to condemn it, because I believe it can be better. Western education has trained us to forget who we are. You won't blame them. That's the truth. You won't blame them. Because that's the concept of colonization. That's what it means. Forget the dictionary meaning of what you see there. The word colonization means lose your identity and take mine. So you wouldn't blame them. I was talking to someone earlier and I told them that, and I wanted to listen to this persistently, everyone. I said, we as Africans, when they came to colonize us, you know what they did? You know what we did? We rejected their technology and accepted their culture. Whereas the Indians, when they were colonized, they said, go with your culture. Give us your technology. You see, Africans, we have lost our identity because we've accepted the virus of Etoka. And I will explain that further. If you do not know who you are, you become someone else. Like a great man once said, be yourself, everyone else is taken. A lot of you here, you know Shakespeare, but you don't know any poets from your community or ethnicity. An educational system that is structured, if we write an exam now and I ask you who discovered River Niger and River Benue, you would sit down and write that a Scottish explorer, Mungo Park, discovered River Niger when there were people already living in Benue State and Kogi State. As a matter of fact, I saw a meme where they said Kogi men carrying Mungo Park to discover it. They were showing him the road so he can discover it. That is bizarre. An educational system that has infected our minds so deeply that you are measuring the level of my intelligence based on my elocution right now. An educational system that is polluting our minds, that Your measure to my intelligence is how impeccable my elocution sounds. You check all my tenses, how the power of oratory. You measure my intelligence from a borrowed language. That's what our education does to us. It pollutes us and loses identity of who we are. You see, when they told me, I prepared honestly, and I told them that I asked my people, get me a calabash. And in my speech today, I was going to give my speech with a calabash and tell you something about the human mind. But they said I have 20 minutes. Our educational system that has polluted our mind, that if you see a masquerade, you tell your kids, don't go close to that masquerade. But for end of year party, you will take your child to a Santa Claus. In fact, you will put your child on the lap of a Santa Claus, and say, that is actually a white mask masquerade. But you know what? Your mind has been polluted. You see, we have been defeated where it matters the most. Who knows where? The mind. We have been polluted where it matters the most. We have received the infection of the mind. And that is a problem. And an educational system that will make us pass in class and fail in life should be questioned. Do you agree with me? I said an educational system that will make us pass in class and fail in life needs to be questioned and worked on. Like I like to call the Western curriculum, I call it a dislocated curriculum, where a mechanical engineering student can't even fix his own generator. Or someone who studies CROS can work comfortably in a bank. You see, our educational system is producing educated slaves with degrees at the expense of their destiny. Our educational system has programmed us to study instead of to create. It's so void, and it has to be worked on. And I stand on this podium not just to speak to every one of you here, but to the thousands and millions streaming and who would find this video somewhere in the chandreti of your life. That we have to heal our nation, our continent where it matters the most. When I took a walk, I spoke to some of my ancestors, and they said to me that this is not the first time things like this are happening in Africa. People, 50 years ago, if you do your research, I was surprised to see a video recently of a man who was leading a protest in 1980. So we have been crying for a better nation, crying for a better continent. It's beyond just what we see here. We have to do it through education, and education is the key. I'm going to show you that in this conversation quickly. You see, one of the virus of our educational system that is affecting us now in our immaculate maturity is that we get punished for things in school that will earn us reward in life. Think about it. There were things you were punished for in school that you actually need now. For instance, you were told to fit in school. Hands on your neighbor's shoulder, sideways stretch. You were told to fit in. But to succeed in life, you don't have to fit in. You have to stand out. In school, they told us, don't copy your neighbor, don't copy your friend who knows the answer. Don't copy. Don't copy that test. But in reality, in life, we have to copy those who know better than us to become champions. Mentorship is everything. But in school, we were punished for copying. In school, we were punished for questioning. If we question our teacher, and if a teacher is teaching, and we question the teacher, say, let us examine this. The teacher can punish you for going out of line. You know why? But in real life, we have to question everything to ignite creativity. So what we are saying in this conversation is that we must debunk every code the educational system has written in our head. One of the most dangerous days in school are career days. I'm sorry. It's one of the most dangerous days in school. When we ask children, what do you want to be when you grow up? And there is a list of options you have imprinted into their minds and have conditioned them. And then you start hearing them pick titles. Lawyer, doctor. Instead, let us ask children, What value do you want to add to your society when you grow up? What problem do you want to solve when you grow up? These are questions of purpose and true identity, instead of giving them the appellation of an education that will lead them into slavery. Like I like to call it, or like we all call it the Western education for a reason. You know what that means? It's not us. It's Western education, as the name says. It doesn't belong to us. Education is from the Greek word eduko. And eduko means to educe. And educe means to develop from within. What does that mean? It means that there is something within every one of us that we have to ignite out. And that is the true education. What I'm here to tell you, why I'm not debating on the context if school is a scam or not. School might be, but education is not. Education is the empowerment of the minds of people. Think about it. Think about our communities. The Igbos, the Yorubas. Are we saying before the Westerners came, we were uneducated? I was talking to someone. I said, how do you think the pyramid of Egypt was built? In symmetries. The strategy and the mechanism was with men with empowered mind. You see, we are all living a life where we're not meant to live. We're living the life we've been programmed to live. Why? Our educational system. They knew that if we get them with education and religion, we can trap them for centuries. And Africa needs to wake up. We have to understand that the true education is to look within and to awaken your soul intelligence within you. Now, what must we do for the future? I'll tell you. The African oracle must speak again. In every African child, there is a hidden oracle. But colonial masters silenced it. You see, there are gifts in our continent. Gifts in our nation. They demonize everything we had. And it's taking them centuries to even get to the level we were 200-300 years ago. For instance, I'm hearing China now has a technology to hold rain. My grandfather could do that. China is saying they have discovered the technology. My grandfather understood the technology years ago. Or is it what we are saying now, that China has discovered a band you wear, bullets would enter you, like that's bulletproof? There are people. We have this tradition, we have this technology, but we have been infected in our minds to demonize what we have, to lose our identity. And let me tell you, if you are not yourself, you are something smaller than you. Education is not a transfer of facts, rather. It is the empowerment of the mind. And that is why we've all said something here. We all came here to speak on real estate, on branding, on health, so many things. I'm here talking about education. And even before this event, I've created a solution. 3 years ago, we opened the Mind Engineering Institution that is in Abuja, in Benin City, and a micro campus in the UK. Now, what is the purpose of this institution? To heal Africans where it matters the most. So I'm not I'm not a doctor who is telling you so much about your problem. I started solving it 3 years ago. Now, every one of you here, you will hear the problem all over again. You keep hearing it. Go on YouTube. There is nothing anybody will say here that is new. But the change that will happen is in the actions we take after now. Africa can only work when we work something out. And I say this to you, that we must be doers of these things we've heard. And I leave you with saying this, that the 20th century built schools, the 21st century, we must build minds. Thank you so much.